Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about all the movies I've seen in 2025 in this nice little tier list. Um, Let me see if this mic's working. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, I see the little green dots. Okay, cool. Um, so I watched 13 movies this year. 13 new movies, by the way. I've seen a lot of old movies. So let me just start at the bottom. I got six tiers here. Nothing to me this year deserved less than a D plus. No Full Love and Thunders came out this year, so this is sticking to six main tiers. At the bottom here, we have the D plus movies I didn't like. There's some redeeming qualities, but overall did not enjoy the movie. Let's put Wicked for Good here. So this is part two of the two-part semi-epic, which to me wasn't really that epic, but you know what? It's not for everybody, right? I just think this movie looked really ugly. It lacked so much saturation that the movie itself felt lifeless, and the pacing was awful. The pacing was really bad. They could have just combined the first movie and the second movie and made it just like a 3 hour long movie, not two movies that add up to like 5 hours. Way too much filler. A lot of scenes I don't care about. A lot of moments that really don't need to be there. I thought the performances in this movie were very good and the music was good, but other than that, horrible directing, horrible pacing, and some of the dialogue didn't really feel natural. Moving on to Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four. This movie just seemed very generic. You just knew exactly what was you gonna get. I feel like most Marvel movies now are like that. Some exceptions in Marvel, like I enjoyed the new Daredevil, but Fantastic Four just seemed like something you've seen 500 times before. Pedro Pascal's way too old to be Reed Richards. I know everybody loves him. He's a good actor, but maybe they could have tried somebody else who hasn't been in like 500 things this year. Um, but yeah, bland characters, bland movie. I don't even remember who the villain was. That's how bland it was. And once again, the coloring seemed a little desaturated, but I did like the whole like retro futuristic vibe they were going for. Um, but yeah, didn't enjoy this. I felt like the whole movie was just setting up the next Avengers movie, which is a problem I have with a lot of modern Marvel movies. They just seem like they're setting up other movies instead of being their own thing. Moving on to Thunderbolts, which was slightly better. That's getting a C minus. I thought it was slightly better than Fantastic Four, but still a bit generic. You know, it's once again exactly what you expect it to be. But I felt like the characters were a lot more interesting in this one because you followed the anti-heroes, and everybody in this movie I feel like was much more fleshed out than I thought they were going to be. They got like nice backstories and stuff, and the chemistry was really good. A lot of good acting, especially from Florence Pugh and David Harbour and Bill Pullman's son. Forgot his name, Lewis Pullman, I think. So a lot of good acting in this movie to make up for a pretty run by the mill script. But I liked how the characters were fleshed out at least. Moving on to Superman, not to be confused with the other Superman from the 70s. This is Superman 2025. I wish it had a subtitle. Same problem God of War 2018 has. It's kind of hard to distinguish them if you just call them the same thing. But this one was fine. A bit generic, run of the mill, like the Thunderbolts, I would say. But I like the guy who played Superman a lot, David Cornsvet, I think his name is, and Rachel Basset, whatever her name is, the lady who played Lois, did a good job. and I really liked Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and some of the other characters were neat, but overall seemed very general by the mill, and once again desaturized. I don't know, that's kind of a running theme in movies this year, I've noticed. Moving on to Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Very long titles. This one was fine. I enjoyed it. It's a bit long for my taste, and the characters in it aren't the most three-dimensional like you would expect from. Well, yeah, actually, no. You don't really expect three-dimensional characters in a movie like this. These are, well, the more three-dimensional than say like Fast and the Furious, but they're not like a Vince Gilligan character, you know. And this movie itself, it's fine. I like Tom Cruise in this movie. I like Simon Pegg and the other characters, Ving Rhames and everybody. And it definitely felt like the end of an era. I'm pretty sure this is the last Mission Impossible movie, and maybe it's for the best. Eight is good, and there's a lot of great action scenes, but it starts to get a little formulaic. But that being said, I did enjoy it. It knew what type of movie it was, a fun action romp for the whole family, and I enjoy that. A lot of crazy stunt pieces. Tom Cruise almost kills himself like the 50th time with his crazy stunts. So, I didn't walk away from the movie disappointed. I definitely enjoyed it. Just not one of my favorites. Moving on to the C tier, where we have Avatar, Fire and Ash. I enjoyed this movie. I feel like it gets a lot of hate from cinephiles for not being that deep, but I feel like there's some themes you could touch on. It's not a bad movie. A lot of themes of family, overcoming prejudices you have, beautiful special effects. The effects in this movie are absolutely beautiful, vivid, colorful. Pandora, like once again, feels like a real place you could visit. The fight scenes are incredible. Just those kind of small moments they take. In a 3.5 hour movie, you could afford to take kind of smaller moments like this, and it doesn't really drag down the pacing. I feel like this movie's paced very well, and the acting and characters are nice. Well, some of the characters are nice. I really only care about the Soli family, and I like the crazy file lady who would be like, "File, death, kill." But all the other characters seem kind of bland to me. But I did like the Solis, even if it was a little ridiculous how Sigourney Weaver plays a teenager. But yeah, I'm definitely going to see the fourth one if I'm still alive by then. Moving on to Zootopia 2. Not as good as the first Zootopia, but still really enjoyable. I actually, this is going here. Yeah, Zootopia 2. Not as good as the first one, but still really enjoyable. I really like the animation. I like the voice acting. The plot was a little simplistic and predictable, but I like the chemistry between Nick and Judy. I thought they were great. But yeah, it's kind of more the same. But at least it doesn't talk down to the audience like a lot of kids' movies do these days. It feels like it's a movie that could be enjoyed by everybody instead of just geared specifically to children, and a bit talking down to them, like I've said. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. Um, if they make a Zootopia 3 in another fucking 10 years, I'll see it. And Sinners. This is going here. I kind of switched it with the Zootopia at the last minute. Sinners was a very good movie. I enjoyed it. A bit slow paced in the first half, but I feel like the second half really picked things up. Michael B. Jordan did a great job. Haley Steinfeld did a great job. The little kid who turns into Buddy Guy, he also did a great job. The vampires were scary, and you had a lot of good action scenes. Most of the movie is honestly a bottle episode, which is kind of cool, filmed in that one restaurant the whole time. And you have a lot of tense scenes. Once again, I feel like it could have been slimmed down a little bit, but I still enjoyed it. I love the music. Ludwig Göransson's, however you say his name, his soundtrack was incredible. I love that scene where they're playing music and you see the different eras of music throughout history come to life. I think that's a really nice scene, and it sets into the theme of vampires liking music because it makes them feel nostalgic for different eras. That's really cool too. So yeah, very enjoyable movie. Moving on to the live action How to Train Your Dragon. This is the first time I've enjoyed a live action adaptation of an animated property since Scooby Doo 20 years ago. Talking about the one with Matthew Lillard and Linda Cardellini. This one was enjoyable, faithfully adapts the source material while adding stuff that adds to the story instead of trying to like improve upon it. Because when you take a well-loved movie like How to Train Your Dragon, you don't want to change too much because people like it for a reason. And this doesn't really try to change too much about the source material. They just add more stuff to enhance the world building. I thought the lead actor did good. The kid who played Hiccup, he was good. I forgot his name. And the young girl in the movie, no, not her, the other lady, the lady from Westworld's daughter, she did good. Um, and yeah, I thought everybody in this movie did a great job. Gerald Butler, the effects were decent, the script was great, and yeah, they keep going with these live action ones. I just hope they keep that same energy. I hope they don't deviate too far from the movies they're based on. Moving on to what's next. One battle after another. So this movie, I didn't really know much about it before going in, but I kind of like that sometimes with movies where I just, thrust myself into them and see what I'm gonna get. And I thought it was a pretty enjoyable movie, pacing a little odd, and the characters weren't exactly likable. Um, it's funny because it's like a Leonardo DiCaprio movie, but Leonardo DiCaprio is the most boring character in the movie. I was much more interested by people like his daughter or Benicio del Toro's character, um, or the villain played by Sean Penn. Very interesting villain. I liked him a lot. Just so unhinged. The evil Santa Claus people who are a little underdeveloped, if we're being honest. Maybe they're setting up a sequel. I don't know. But yeah, enjoyable movie, funny, like great action scenes, great social commentary. But it did run a little long for my taste. But I still really enjoyed it. There's a lot of things to like about it. Moving on to I'm Still Here, which technically came out last year in Brazil, but it came out this year in America. So I'm counting it in 2025 because my ass ain't flying all the way to Brazil to watch a movie and the year it came out. You know? Whatever happened to like global releases where everything would release at the same time? I'm going on a tangent. The movie itself was beautiful, very sad and anxiety inducing for this lady to watch her family get ripped away from her and having to like prove it. I think she's a very strong woman because she's put under this really tough circumstances, but has to be strong for her family. And you could see her breaking inside. I think the lead actress in this film did an exceptional job. And yeah, great movie. Very atmospheric. And I didn't really know much about the police state they had in Brazil at the time. Obviously, as an American, we don't really learn much about that, which is something I like about foreign movies. I like watching that about foreign movies. You get to learn more about their cultures and their history. So, yeah, I thought the lead actress definitely carried this movie. She was fantastic. Moving on to Chainsaw Man, the Raze arc. This movie was very good. I do not remember much of the Chainsaw Man TV show because it's been 3 years, and while I enjoyed it, I didn't really find it that memorable. but I definitely enjoyed this movie much more than the TV show. Um, I like what they do with Denji's character. They kind of expand on his loneliness and his desire to connect um, for romance and stuff. And Reze is a very interesting villain. We see a lot of sides to her. A lot of philosophical themes in the movie, like would you rather be a city rat or a country rat? Uh, Different stuff like that. A scene that really stood out to me was when him and his creepy boss were watching movies together, and those 9 movies they watched that they didn't really get a reaction out of, but the one at the end had such an emotional response to them, and I thought that was really interesting. I like that scene a lot because they're all special movies like that. Uh, Little ironic that that was such a special scene, and it's about special scenes. Isn't that a little funny? Anyway, great action, a lot of emotional beats in this movie, much more than I was expecting. But yeah, overall, very enjoyable. Really looking forward to what happens next in Chainsaw Man universe, whether it's a movie or another season. But I'm excited. Moving on to Demon Slayer, which is my number one movie of the year. And Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 1, which is the first of the 3-part finale of Demon Slayer, a show I've been watching since season 1 came out. So I've been a fan for a long time, and this has everything you would love from a Demon Slayer movie. It has beautiful animation, intense action scenes, multi-layered heroes and villains. You get to find out the villain's backstory, so you kind of sympathize with them, who they used to be, while also fearing who they've become. A lot of emotional beats in this movie. Yeah, honestly, I don't want to spoil too much, but it was awesome. Definitely my number one movie of 2025, and I'm so excited for the second part. Don't know when that's going to be, but if animation is that good, I'm fine with them taking as much as they need to take. Same with Chainsaw Man, same with the Spider-Verse movies. Quality over quantity. Unless it's One Punch Man, then you have neither. So let me know what you guys thought of this year in movies. Do you agree with my best pick? Do you agree with my worst picks? Are there any movies on this list, or are there any movies that came out this year that I haven't seen that you think I would like? If so, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.